Welcome to the Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald podcast of Wednesday, the 25th of June 2025, brought to you by volunteers for Bishopbriggs-based charity Cue and Review Print Speaking to the Blind. Pavement parking ban start date is set. East Dunbartonshire Council confirms when enforcement and the issuing of fines will begin. Report by Kevin McRoberts. East Dunbartonshire Council is set to start enforcing the pavement parking ban from Monday, September the 1st. The Transport Scotland Act 2019 prohibits pavement parking, double parking and parking across dropped curbs, and powers have been granted to councils to enforce the legislation. The law aims to improve the safety of pedestrians, particularly those with mobility issues, visual impairments and parents or carers with pushchairs. Additionally, pavements are not designed to bear the weight of vehicles, and persistent parking can cause significant damage, causing a trip hazard and leading to expensive repairs. Local authorities now have the power to enforce this law and issue fines through the penalty charge notices, PCNs, of £100, reduced to £50 if paid within 14 days. East Dunbartonshire Council will begin enforcing these new rules on Monday, September the 1st, and is launching a campaign across the area to raise awareness of the new regulations to ensure that the legislation is not a surprise to those who live, work and park in this area. Councillor Paul Ferretti, convener of the Council's Place, Neighbourhood and Corporate Assets Committee, said, "The message here is clear. Pavement parking is unsafe, unfair and illegal. Many people face daily difficulties with pavement parking. It is dangerous and frustrating, especially for those with impairments or limited mobility and with mental health challenges. Pavement parking has serious consequences and can force people to take unnecessary risks. It can force people using wheelchairs, guide dogs or push buggies onto the road, putting their safety at risk. Even if you think you have left enough space, only park two wheels on the pavement, or you won't be parked for long. Pavement parking can have harmful consequences to people who use the pavement. By not parking on the pavement, it ensures our roads and pavements are safer and more accessible for everyone. Certain exemptions to the ban are permitted under the Act. These include police, ambulance, Scottish Fire and Rescue Services and HM Coast Guard, roadworks, removal of traffic obstructions, waste collection by local authorities or postal services, urgent or emergency healthcare by registered medical practitioners, nurses or midwives, assistance at an accident or breakdown, delivering or collecting goods provided the vehicle is parked for no longer than necessary, up to 20 minutes. Additionally, a small number of streets in East Dunbartonshire will be exempt from the ban following a review. An external consultant was appointed by the council to undertake an assessment of its road and footway network. They used strict criteria to identify 13 locations across East Dunbartonshire that were suitable for exemption orders to allow parking on the footway to ensure the safe passage of emergency vehicles. These locations can be found in the pavement parking page on the council's website. That report was written by Kevin McRoberts and read by Ian McKenna. This week in history. June 28, 1984. After 104 years, the British magazine Titbits stopped publishing. June 29, 1956. Actress Marilyn Monroe married playwright Arthur Miller. On this day last year, British rock band Coldplay threw it back to the year 2000 as they opened their record-breaking 5th headline slot at Glastonbury Festival with hit song Yellow. The band first headlined on the Pyramid stage in 2002, and their Saturday night performance saw them overtake The Cure, who have headlined the slot 4 times. June 30th, 1960. Norman Bates was unleashed onto an unsuspecting world when the Hitchcock's classic thriller Cycle was premiered in New York. On this day last year, A Conservative student association was condemned after an utterly abhorrent video appeared to show revellers singing a Nazi marching song at one of its events. The footage was taken at a black tie dinner hosted by the Warwick University Conservative Association, UWCA, and guests were filmed dancing to Erica, a song which has been adopted by white supremacists. July the 1st, 1969, Prince Charles was invested as Prince of Wales by the Queen at Carnarvon Castle. July 2nd, 1964, President Johnson signed the USA Civil Rights Bill, prohibiting racial discrimination. And that was This Week in History, as of Wednesday the 25th of June, 2025.
Ben Nevis climb for the Beatson as recorded by Hunter MacDonald. A staff nurse from Kirkintilloch is using her voice and her feet to raise awareness of the importance of smear tests and raise vital funds for Beatson Cancer Charity. This Saturday, June the 28th, Lauren McNulty, 31, will climb Ben Nevis, the UK's highest mountain, to thank the Beatson for her care. Lauren was diagnosed with cervical cancer in February 2022 at just 28 years old, after experiencing symptoms for several years including pelvic pain, heavy bleeding and abnormal smear test results. She underwent weeks of intensive treatment at the Beatson, including chemotherapy, radiotherapy and internal radiation. I had all my treatment at the Beatson, she said. It's an incredible place, uplifting, compassionate and full of brilliant people. It means so much to now be strong enough to take on something like Ben Nevis, especially when I remember how exhausted I used to feel just walking from the car to the radiotherapy department. Since finishing treatment, Lauren has gradually rebuilt her strength. Walking and hiking has always been part of her life, but cancer took that from her. Determined to reconnect with what she loves, she joined a walking group, began strength training at the gym and slowly pushed herself further outdoors. To go from struggling to walk upstairs to now climbing Ben Nevis, this is huge for me, she said. It's emotional and empowering. While Lauren's climb is a personal milestone, she's also determined to use it as a platform to encourage more women to attend cervical screening appointments and to advocate for their health. I was only 28 when I was diagnosed, she explained. You're never too young for cervical cancer, and changes in your body can happen at any age. That smear test might feel uncomfortable or inconvenient, but it can catch things early. Chloe Coghill, Beatson Cancer Charity community fundraiser, said, Lauren is an inspiration to us all. Her strength, determination and willingness to share her story will help so many others understand the importance of regular screening. We're incredibly proud to have her support and will be cheering her on every step of the way as she takes on Ben Nevis in honour of the Beatson and everyone affected by cancer. Life-saving treatment and research at the Beatson. Lauren's Ben Nevis climb will raise funds to support the Beatson Cancer Charity, which believes that no one should face cancer on their own. This has always been the Beatson Cancer Charity's aim, and it works hard to continue to support even more people and families in the years to come. There have been 14,172 patients who have received therapies at the Wellbeing Centre Beatson Cancer Charity, which works in close partnership with clinicians and researchers at the Beatson West of Scotland Cancer Centre and the Beatson Institute for Cancer Research to help to deliver life-saving research. The Beatson is an internationally renowned cancer centre and the busiest in the UK in terms of clinical activity and patient numbers, as well as being the second largest cancer centre in the UK, delivering all of the radiotherapy and much of the chemotherapy to the population of the west of Scotland, with a catchment area of 2.5 million people, around 60% of Scotland's population. Each year the Beatson sees more than 8,000 new patients and delivers more than 25,000 courses of chemotherapy and 6,500 courses of radiotherapy. The Beatson is staffed by some 950 highly skilled and dedicated healthcare professionals across a range of disciplines. Find out more about Beatson Cancer Charity at www.beatson.org. beatsandcancercharity.org. Have your say on leisure services. Time is running out to help shape services, facilities and activities delivered by Eastern Bartonshire Leisure and Culture Trust, EDLCT. EDLCT, a registered charity, is developing a new culture, leisure and sports strategy with consultation taking place until this Sunday, June the 29th. Nearly 800 completed surveys have been received. Find out more and get involved by visiting www.easternbarton.gov.uk/EDLCT-strategy. There is a survey for adults and one specifically aimed at young people attending local primary, secondary schools. The Trust delivers a wide range of services and operates facilities including Kirkintilloch Leisure Centre, the Leisure Dome in Bishopbriggs, the Allender Leisure Centre in Bearsden, pavilions, 8 libraries, the Old Kirk Museum in Kirkintilloch, the Lily Art Gallery in Mulgai, Kirkintilloch Town Hall and Kilmerdinny House in Bearsden. A vision, mission statement and priorities for the next 5 years have been developed through consultation with employees. Councillor Jim Gibbons, EDLCT Chair, said, "We are keen to hear from as many service users, residents and stakeholders as possible, particularly younger people and those from local villages. All feedback will be used to help ensure the Trust continues to deliver first-class cultural, leisure and sports services, facilities and activities. Please fill in the survey before the deadline if you can. Survey results will help to shape the final strategy with the aim to have it in place by this autumn following a report to the EDLCT board." Delay to switch off. Ofgem has confirmed the widespread switch off of obsolete energy meters won't happen at the end of this month. Instead, following widespread concern, a phased switch off of the radio teleswitch service will begin on 30th of June. Advice Direct Scotland, which runs the energy advice centre energyadvice.scot, has been campaigning on the issue. It welcomed the move but called for urgent clarity and better communication for affected customers. Andrew Bartlett, Chief Executive of Advice Direct Scotland, said, "We now need a clear timetable for the phased switch-off, with information on which areas will be affected and when. Energy suppliers must give practical advice in good time, and any issues must be resolved quickly." Support is available at energyadvice.scot or by calling 0808 196 8660.
Nurse of the Year Awards by Kevin McRoberts. NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde, NHS GGC, is celebrating the outstanding achievements of its nursing and midwifery staff following a triumphant evening at the Royal College of Nursing, or RCN, Scotland Nurse of the Year Awards. NHS GGC nurses and midwives were recognised across multiple categories, showcasing their dedication, compassion and innovation in care across hospitals, health centres and in the community. Award winners include Adult Nursing Award, Kirsty Law, ENT Emergency Nurse Practitioner, Queen Elizabeth University Hospital. Kirsty was praised as exceptional by her nominator for delivering high-quality, patient-centred emergency care to over 4,500 patients annually. Her innovative approach reduces hospital admissions and enhances patient flow. She is also a key mentor and educator, shaping the future of ENT nursing in collaboration with Glasgow Caledonian University. Learning Disability Nursing Award, Assertive Outreach Team, Renfrewshire Learning Disability Service. This team was recognised for their rapid, person-centred interventions that support individuals in the community, reduce hospital readmissions, and ease caseload pressures. Their work has made a lasting impact on patients and families, earning praise from judges for their commitment to positive change. Additional honours: Runner-up, Nursing Support Worker of the Year, Julie Ferguson, Associate Practitioner, Royal Hospital for Children. Runner-up, Children's Nursing and Midwifery Award, Health for All Nursing Team. Highly commended, Children's Nursing and Midwifery Award, Best Start Midwifery Leadership Team. Professor Angela Wallace, Executive Director of Nursing at NHS GCC, shared her congratulations. She said, "We are incredibly proud of our nursing teams and the recognition they have received at this year's RCN Scotland Awards. These acknowledgements highlight the passion, professionalism and commitment that our nurses bring to patient care every day. Congratulations to all our winners, nominees and the teams around them." That article was written by Kevin McRoberts and it was read by Jahan.
MSP backs opponents of change in nursery policy. A report by Kevin McRoberts. Scottish Conservative and Unionist MSP Dr Pam Gosal has added her voice to those speaking out against an East Dunbartonshire Council decision to delay funded nursery places for 3-year-olds. An online petition launched by Jennifer Barrand on change.org has attracted over 1,000 signatures opposing the change of policy by the local authority as part of its budget cuts agreed earlier this year. Under the new policy, children will only become eligible for their 1,140 hours of funded early learning and childcare from the start of the term after their 3rd birthday, rather than the day after their birthday as before. The Council says this new policy meets the statutory provision for 3-year-old children. Earlier this month, the Herald reported that Adam Harley, Scottish Liberal Democrat candidate for Strathkelvin and Bearsden in next year's Scottish Parliament election, had backed calls for East Dunbartonshire Council to reverse its decision to change its policy. Now Dr Gosal has expressed her disappointment at a decision she says has caused real distress for families, many of them relying on those places to manage work or caring responsibilities. She added, "I recognise the Council faces financial challenges, but families in other parts of Scotland continue to receive access to funded places from the term after their 3rd child's birthday. I firmly believe that the children in East Dunbartonshire should not be placed at a disadvantage based on where they live." Early years education provision should not be subject to a postcode lottery, which gives rise to unequal opportunities and is detrimental to the long-term success of local communities. I have written to the Cabinet Secretary for Education and Skills, Jenny Gilruth, to seek clarity on the Scottish Government's position on this policy change and confirm whether any further support or engagement is being offered to East Dunbartonshire Council to help protect access to nursery places for eligible children. In her petition, Jennifer highlights how the policy change directly impacts her daughter, who, despite being born at the start of April, will not receive funding until she is 3 years and 4 months old in August. She adds, "This will force us to bear additional financial burdens during an already challenging cost of living crisis. For my family, personally, this will be thousands of pounds in extra fees for my daughter to access her nursery place purely based on when her birthday falls." East Dunbartonshire Council's policy shift will affect many working families, depriving us of one of the few universal benefits, funded nursery hours, for our children. As working parents, we will now need to wait until the next school term for our children to receive their entitlement to early education. I urge East Dunbartonshire Council to reconsider and reverse this policy change. We need policies that support, not hinder, our children's early education, and their right to quality nursery education should not be compromised. The petition can be found at www.change.org/p/reverse-policy-change-2-funded-nursery-places-for-3-year-olds-in-East Dunbartonshire. That report was written by Kevin McRoberts and read by me, Nikki. Restoration of River set to proceed. A report by Neil McGrory. Councillors have voted to go ahead with river restoration works in Lennoxtown, despite concerns from some members and several objections from the public. East Dunbartonshire's Council's Planning Committee discussed an internally submitted planning application which proposed the work, which is part of a larger project to restore the ecological and physical condition of the Glazert Water, a tributary of the River Kelvin. The works include the removal of hard banking at 5 locations, which will allow the river to flood more naturally, improving the habitat for wildlife and the general condition of the river. Sections of embankment are also to be removed, which will allow the river to inundate its floodplain on a more natural cycle every 1 or 2 years. This will improve the transfer of sediments and reduce the amount of silt in the water, benefiting the growth of rare habitat such as wetlands and wet woodland. 2 shallow ponds, known as scrapes, will be formed between the river and the John Muir Way path. These will improve water retention in the floodplain and create wetlands for benefit of wildlife. Large wooden structures will be placed to stabilise the banks, extending at least 8 metres into the river channel, again supporting the transportation of sediment. One relic of the area's industrial past will be removed, that being the remains of the collapsed Greystanes Weir. It has been targeted as it is causing erosion along the banks of the river and putting the John Muir Way path at risk, while also obstructing fish migration. The safety of the Strathkelvin railway path is also currently under threat due to erosion of the north bank of the river, so a protective wooden structure will be installed. This will consist of 2 tiers of tree trunks with root plates. A smaller structure will be erected on the south side of the river, where bank erosion has resulted in the loss of some farmland and the landowner requested assistance. Tree management is also an element of this planned work, with selected tree felling and planting, as well as the removal of invasive plant species such as Japanese knotweed, Himalayan balsam and rhododendrons. A report to the committee from council officers recommended granting permission for the works subject to a list of conditions, but the council had received 73 objections during the application's consultation period. Many of the objectors cited concerns over flood risk to properties, with 77 points about this listed in the report, while other issues raised related to the impact on an ancient woodland, the effect on habitat and wildlife, risks of spreading invasive species to other areas, risk of contamination due to the presence of pollutants from the area's industrial past, wider aspects of health and safety, the effect on nearby footpaths, opposition to removing the weir, the handling of the planning process, and more. As the committee considered the report, Councillor Paul Ferretti, SNP Bishopbriggs North and Campsie, moved to refuse the application, while convener Callum McNally, Labour, Lenzie and Kirkintilloch South, supported the recommendation in the report that it should be granted subject to conditions. Part of the report read, "The proposed development will, to an extent, change the character of the site and of the woodland that it contains, including the ancient woodland, over the longer term, in view of the proposed river restoration works. However, it is considered that this change in character will have a positive impact on the site and of the natural environment that it contains, in terms of improving its resilience to climate change and in terms of the benefits that this will have on improving and enhancing its ecological diversity, improving water quality, and improving the management of the woodland environment." Councillor Ferretti said he was opposed to the application due to the impact it would have in the short term on the Glazer Valley area, as well as the ancient woodland, and also the removal of the weir, which he considered a historic asset to the village. In the resultant vote, though, 9 members voted to grant the application, while 5 voted to refuse. That report was written by Neil McGrory.
Making Visits to Hospital Easier by Kevin McRoberts. At the Royal Hospital for Children, RHC, in Glasgow, one of the UK's leading centres for paediatric care, the focus goes far beyond medical treatment. The hospital is setting a national example in family-centred care, ensuring that every child and young person feels safe, supported and understood throughout their healthcare journey. During a recent visit, NHS Greater Glasgow and Clyde's Chief Executive, Professor Jan Gardner, explored how the RHC is transforming the hospital experience for children and their families, from the moment they walk through the doors to the time they head home. One of the first places many families visit is the beloved Teddy Hospital. This unique space helps children prepare for medical procedures through play. Here, young patients can explore medical equipment, hear the sounds of an MRI machine, and learn what it means to be put to sleep for surgery, all in a calm, friendly environment. This approach is especially helpful for children with autism or other neurodiverse conditions, making the hospital feel less intimidating. Open 7 days a week, the Teddy Hospital is a cornerstone of the RHC experience and is gaining national attention for its innovative approach. In the theatres department, Professor Gardner met with anaesthetist Dr. Alison Walker and theatre coordinator Angie McLean, who shared how they've created a compassionate and calming environment for children undergoing surgery. Each anaesthetic room is themed with different animals and colourful artwork based on real stories from patients and families, and guides children through their journey. The team is also exploring new ways to use lighting and sound to help children feel even more at ease, particularly those with sensory sensitivities. The outpatient department, OPD, is another area where creativity and care come together. Lead nurse Janice Heggie and OPD manager Mary Stirrett shared how the department was designed in collaboration with the Glasgow Science Centre to be both educational and engaging. Plans are underway to introduce new sensory and immersive technologies to better support neurodiverse patients, ensuring that every child receives care tailored to their needs. The final stop on Professor Gardner's visit was the hospital's very own Medicinema, a fully equipped cinema where children can watch the latest films in a fun, inclusive setting. Whether attending as an outpatient or staying in the hospital, children can enjoy movie screenings with their families, sometimes even celebrating birthdays or meeting their favourite football players. This special space, created in partnership with the Medicinema charity, brings joy and a sense of normality to children facing serious health challenges. The Royal Hospital for Children continues to lead the way in delivering outstanding patient-centred care. With services like the Teddy Hospital, themed theatres, interactive outpatient areas and the Medicinema, the hospital is committed to making every visit as positive and comforting as possible for both children and their families. If you're visiting the RHC, know that you're stepping into a place where your child's emotional well-being is just as important as their physical health. Find out more at www.nhs.gdc.scot/hospitals-services/main-hospitals/children. That article was written by Kevin McRoberts.
Two-child cap to go. The Scottish Government will effectively scrap the impact of the two-child limit from March the 2nd next year, Social Justice Secretary Shirley Ann Somerville has confirmed. Ms Somerville said the two-child limit payment will mean 20,000 fewer children will be living in relative poverty in 2026-27. She said at less than 15 months from when we announced this in the Scottish Budget, this will be the fastest that a Scottish social security benefit has been delivered. This builds upon the considerable action we have taken, including delivering unparalleled financial support through our Scottish Child Payment, investing to clear school meal debts and continuing to support almost 10,000 children by mitigating the UK Government's benefit cap as fully as possible.
Disneyland Paris Dream for Starstruck Students by Kevin McRoberts. Young performers from a Muirhead-based musical theatre school have enjoyed a magical experience performing at Disneyland Paris. 28 students from Starstruck Musical Theatre School got the chance to perform on stage and in the parade at the entertainment resort. And they are hugely grateful to the many sponsors and supporters who made it all possible by helping to fund their trip of a lifetime. Victoria Kennedy, who founded Starstruck 7 years ago, said, "I am so unbelievably proud of each of my students and everything that they do." After auditioning and being offered the opportunity to perform, the students' families and friends, together with the theatre school staff, got to work to make it a reality. In order to help pay for the trip, students held numerous fundraising events, and they were also kindly sponsored by a number of local companies: Stewart Auto Salvage, Peritum Gas Engineering, Custom Prints, Money and Me Solicitors, Vox Installations, and Hair by Sandra. Victoria said, "I want to say a huge thank you to them all. Without their support, none of this would have been possible." Parents of students involved commented that the experience was unbelievable and that giving our children the opportunity of performing in the parade and in a Disney stage show made dreams come true. Victoria said it was a privilege to be a part of the children's lives. She continued, "This was our second time doing a trip to Disneyland, and this time was even more magical than the first. The school is growing bigger and better each day, and with the help of my incredible team of staff, we created a dream team of performers who represented us so professionally. We all cried happy tears as we watched them shine on stage and as they danced through the streets of Disneyland. It truly was a magical experience, and one that those children and everyone involved will always remember." Starstruck will be running 2 summer camps this July and will be welcoming new students in August. Find out more on Starstruck's Facebook and Instagram pages, or sign up to the waiting list for classes at starstruck-musical-theatre.classforkids.io. That article was written by Kevin McRoberts.
Family announcements. In memoriam. Cian, Ella. In loving memory of my dear mother, Ella, died June 30th, 1969. Always remembered, Robert. Matthewson, Robin. Remembering our much-loved nephew Robin. Gone from our lives, but forever in our hearts. Nancy and Norman, kiss, kiss.
Roll up for the circus. A report by Kevin McRoberts. The circus is coming to town. Zippo's Circus, Scotland's favourite circus, is back on tour this summer with Bravo, its all-new show. It's Britain's largest circus, featuring Britain's smallest showman. And it'll be rolling into Kirkintilloch late this summer, with shows at Woodhead Park from Wednesday, August 6 until Monday, August 11. The ever-popular acrobat and comedy star Paulo dos Santos hosts the show again. He might only be 3'6" tall, but he has a big personality. Artists from Italy, France, Kenya, Mongolia, South America, Ukraine and more join him in the circus ring. The show is packed with edge-of-your-seat thrills. From Italy, there's the very funny Mr. Lorenz Carnevale, providing comedy and laughs for children and adults alike. And from France, Cheyenne will have you biting your fingernails as she swings through the air of Zippo's big top on the cloud swing. Martin Burton, founder of Zippo's Circus, commented, "I'm extremely proud that Zippo's Circus is the UK's favourite family circus, boasting a sensational cast of international artists and a talented team working behind the scenes." Ticket prices for the 2-hour show are now on sale. Advance booking is strongly recommended. Book online at www.zippos.co.uk. Performances at Woodhead Park, Lenzie Road, Kirkintilloch, Wednesday, August 6, 7:30 p.m, Thursday, August 7, 3 p.m. and 6 p.m, Friday, August 8, 3 p.m. and 6 p.m, Saturday, August 9, noon, 3 p.m. and 6 p.m, Sunday, August 10, noon and 3 p.m, Monday, August 11, 3 p.m. That report was written by Kevin McRoberts.
The Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald's letters page, as published on the 25th of June 2025. Let's talk. Please send your letters via email to kirkyherald@jnscotland.co.uk. That's KIRKYHERALD @JNSCOTLAND.co.uk and write letters in the subject field. Please keep letters to a maximum of 300 words. Letters cannot be published without a name and postal address. Also include a daytime phone number if possible. We reserve the right to edit any letter. Disabled people live in fear. Sir, the UK government's new Universal Credit and PIP bill, put before Parliament last week, does almost nothing to ease the concerns of hundreds of the thousands of disabled people who fear that their social security support will be ripped from them. In fact, this bill will push nearly 500,000 more people into severe hardship and towards the doors of food banks. It is easy to see why so many MPs have voiced concerns about the damage this bill will do. What has been published today offers little for MPs deeply concerned about the impact of these cuts on their constituents. The last-minute details and predictions offer something for a small proportion of people, but even they will still see a real terms cut. The reality of this bill is still record cuts in support for disabled people, and the biggest cuts to social security since 2015. It is shocking that MPs have been asked to vote through cuts without a full assessment of their impact, and especially worrying as we know that already 3 in 4 people referred to the Trussell community are disabled or live with someone who is. We know hunger and hardship already pushes up public service costs alone by £13.7 billion. MPs have been asked to vote for a bill that will drive up hunger and hardship and undermine the UK government's promises on economic growth and ending the need for emergency food. Yours, etc., Helen Bernard, Director of Policy at Trussell. Recall of MSPs long overdue. Sir, Jamie Hepburn, the Minister for Parliamentary Business, told Holyrood Standards Committee that he supports the principle of the Scottish Parliament recalling the removal of members' bill, but he had concerns about the cost. He alleges that there would be anonymous campaigns to fire politicians. Of course he would say this, since SNP MSPs would be most at risk. The Recall of MPs Act was invoked in 2015, so the SNP dominated the Scottish Government, have been dragging their feet and are 10 years behind. Why? Some of the more cynical electorate might suggest that this was because the SNP would have lost numerous MSPs over the years, including ministers. Neil Gray, Scotland's Health Secretary with his government limousines, and Michael Matheson with his holiday iPad would be worthy candidates. Yours, etc., Clark Cross, by email. Stunned by SNP. Sir, John Swinney, who has been at the heart of the Scottish Government for 2 decades, decided he wanted to talk about renewal. Is he for real? The system he seeks to fix is a direct result of his and his party's mismanagement. Ferry fiascos, education floundering with the attainment gap stagnant, and this week we see the drugs death in Scotland rocketing again. These are just 3 of the mess-up they have presided over. With an election looming in Scotland, anyone who votes for this fiasco party, presided over and run by persons who wouldn't even get a junior management position in the corporate world, will doom the rest of Scotland for another term of incompetence and wasting of hard-earned taxpayers' money. Vote for them at your peril. Yours, etc., Graham Morgan, by email. Pensioner poverty. Sir, our charity recently released a new index into the financial well-being of older Scots. Across the country, the results were stark, revealing the tough choices many in later life have been forced to make. Our data has shown that, shockingly, across Scotland, 32% of older people have skipped meals in the last year. Just 21% say the state pension is enough to cover basic living expenses. The Scottish Government recently put forward its programme for government, and again, despite rising levels of pensioner poverty, there was no proposed plan to tackle this. At independent age, we know that urgent action is needed. A pensioner poverty strategy could include a pension credit awareness campaign, which is a vital source of support for older people on a low income that a significant number in Scotland, 19%, do not even know about. The results of our index show the unacceptable financial difficulties many older people in Scotland are experiencing. This must change. Both the UK and Scottish governments must act. Yours, etc., Debbie Horn, Scotland Policy and Public Affairs Manager, Independent Age. And that was this week's letters page, Wednesday the 25th of June 2025, read by Ian McKenna.
Turf Cutting for School Extension by Kevin McRoberts. Building work has officially started on the extension of Christen High School, marked by a turf cutting ceremony. The project will increase the school's capacity by 500 pupils to meet the needs of new housing developments in the area. It will include new classrooms, outdoor learning spaces, sports facilities, and an early years centre. Councillor Michael McBride, North Lanarkshire's convener of education, children and families, cut the first turf on the new site. He said, "This is a significant investment in our young people and the wider community. The expanded school will meet the needs of a growing population and offer excellent new facilities for pupils and residents. We are committed to creating top quality spaces for our communities now and in the future." The Scottish Government is funding the project through its Learning Estate Investment Programme. The development will include new indoor and outdoor community sports facilities that will be available for public use. Jenny Gilruth, Cabinet Secretary for Education and Skills, said, "It was a pleasure to join pupils, staff and contractors to mark the start of work on the new Christon High School expansion. It will add to the high-quality learning spaces available for pupils, teachers and staff, and provide important facilities for the wider community." Through the £2 billion Learning Estate Investment Programme, the Scottish Government is driving improvements in schools across Scotland, with the number of schools in good or satisfactory condition increasing from 62.7% in 2007 to 91.7% in 2024. Snowdrop Nursery will also move into the new campus, helping to build stronger links between the nursery and the school. Greg Orrock, Christon High School head teacher, said, "This is an exciting time for our school and community. The new extension will bring great new learning and social spaces. We're also looking forward to working with BAM on a foundation apprenticeship in construction skills, giving our pupils real insight into careers in the industry." The construction is being led by BAM Construction, working with Hub Southwest. The design team includes BDP Architects, Blythe & Blythe Civil and Structural Engineers, and Hulley and Kirkwood Mechanical and Electrical Engineers. Christon High School serves the Northern Corridor, with pupils coming from Auchinloch, Christon, Gartcosh, Moodiesburn and Steps primary schools. The turf cutting event was attended by local councillors, Scottish Government representatives, Mr Orrock and pupils. Jim Ward, BAM Construction Regional Director, said, "We're proud to be building a modern, inclusive learning space that will help young people thrive." Sean Sands, Hub Southwest Programme Director, added, "This extension will improve the already excellent facilities at Christon High. It's a great example of working together to meet local needs with smart, sustainable solutions." That article was written by Kevin McRoberts.
Good day to you here, it's Philip and I'm reading the church news from the Kirkintilloch Herald. If my voice sounds a wee bit rough, then it's because I've been doing a lot of singing in the concert hall in Glasgow and on Saturday at the Usher Hall in Edinburgh. But I think I'm well enough to read the church news. Hopefully you may find it interesting. And just to ask if you have any comments or anything you wish me to advertise under the church news, then do let us know at Q Review. And as always, we go first of all to Milton of Campsie Church. Last Sunday they celebrated Pentecost with intergenerational communion and a meaningful but hilarious Pentecosta drama. Well done everyone. Our next Go Mad event will be Marmalada beginning on Monday, the July the 28th at 10 a.m. Yes. The full programme for children, young people and adults is on our notice board. Preparations, yes, they're continuing with preparation for the SU camp at Gowan Bank or Gowan Park and Go Mad's Marmalada. Our summer messenger is now being put together and when printed will be put through every letterbox in the village. Cafe Connect, final meeting of the season, meets today, Tuesday that is, at 9:30am. Time to pray on Wednesday at 7pm, followed by Go Mad and preparations. So there you have it, the news from Kirkintilloch, from Milton Acampsey. And we prayed for Julie, our minister, her team, and all the children who go ahead for the SU camp at Gowan Park. I actually think that's a misprint. It should be Gowan Bank on Saturday. Our worship on Sunday will take the form of a joint service at Campsie Parish Church at 11am, baby and toddler group on Monday at 9:45am, hobbies club at 2pm, and badminton club at 7:30pm. So there you have it. That's the news from Milton Acampsey Parish Church. And then we go to all the other churches all over the place. Let's go to Kirkintilloch Church of God at Regent Hall, Regent Street. Our Sunday morning communion service is at 10:30am, followed by a time of prayer. The coffee corner is now closed for the summer period and will reopen again, that is, on Wednesday, August the 20th. There will be no Sunday afternoon services during July and August. Our next family praise event is on Sunday, September the 7th at 4pm. For up-to-date and further information on our services, visit our website, allthews.regenthall.org. And the text for this week is, Jesus said, "Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up the cross and follow me." And that's found in Matthew 16. Then to Lenzie Old Parish Church. Sunday worship is at 11am, led by the Reverend Julie Harty. A creche is available for children under 1 year of age. Kirkintilloch and Lenzie Joint Churches Holiday Club, called Deep Sea Divers, for children in primary 1 to 7. Book a free place for all or some of the days. Bible story telling, arts and crafts, messy, same music, free fruit and snacks. Tuesday, August the 5th and Wednesday, August the 6th, 10 till 12 noon at St Mary's Parish Church, Cowgate, Kirkintilloch. Thursday, August the 7th and Friday, August the 8th, 10am to 12 noon at Lenzie Old Parish Church, Gaber Avenue, Lenzie. For more information, to book, contact kirkylenzieYouth@gmail.com. And now to Lenzie Union Parish Church, that is. Sunday morning service on June the 29th is at 11am, led by the Reverend Donald MacLeod. A live stream of the service will be available on YouTube. Church of Scotland, Lenzie Joint Summer Services, Sunday, July the 6th at 11am, Lenzie Old. Sunday, July the 13th at 11am, Lenzie Old again. And Sunday, July the 20th at 11am at Lenzie Old. Sunday, July the 27th at Lenzie Union at 11am. Sunday, August the 3rd, 11am, Lenzie Union again. And Sunday, August the 10th, 11am at Lenzie Union. St David's Memorial Park in Kirkintilloch. This Sunday, June the 29th, we will be having our monthly cafe church, when tea and coffee and pastries will be served before the service, which will be held in the church hall as usual at the time of 10:30am. This will be led by Catriona Monroe, and all ages are welcome. There will be no Tuesday lunchtime service this week, with the next one to be held on July the 15th. And staying in Kirkintilloch, we're going to St Mary's Parish Church. The service on Sunday, June the 29th, will begin at 11am as usual. There will be age-appropriate activities for our young people in the halls during the service. Our next open doors will take place on Wednesday, July the 2nd, when the church will be open from 10am to 3pm. Tea, coffee and biscuits will all be available at this time. On Wednesday, July the 16th, we'll be holding one of our knit-ins. That's knit as in knitting. The church will be open from 11 till 1:30pm, when we will be knitting more poppies for the remembrance banner and flowers to decorate the church railings. A light lunch will be provided from 12:15pm. St James Church, Hilton Road, Bishopbriggs. The minister there is Paul Watson. There is a communion service in the chapel on Thursday, June the 26th at 11am and at 9am on Sunday, June the 29th. The Sunday service at 10:30am, communion service with hymns is in the church and on Zoom. Everyone is welcome to come along to any of these services. Do stay on for tea, coffee and fellowship afterwards. A note, men's lunch is moved to Tuesday, July the 1st at 1pm at La Vita. There you go. There is also other virtual services and other groups that meet up. And for more information, check out their social media, Facebook, St James LS Bishopbriggs, and the website stjamesbishopbriggs.org.uk. Now, Springfield Cambridge Church. On Sunday, June the 29th, morning worship will be conducted by the Reverend Ian Taylor in the sanctuary at 11 a.m, and offering, as usual, will be taken up. And the Sunday school meets in room 2, where Crest facilities are also available. Morning worship is also being live streamed on the Springfield Cambridge Church YouTube channel. A link to this can be found on the Springfield Cambridge Church website. Yes, you guessed it, all the W's. springfieldcambridge.org.uk and Facebook page, where up-to-date information about events and church organisations can also be found. There will be a vestry hour on Wednesday, June the 25th at 10 a.m. to 11. For anyone who would like to speak with the minister, there will be a short 20-minute midweek service on Wednesday, June the 25th at 11 a.m, or 11:10, that is, in the Springfield Chapel, followed by tea, coffee in the Hall of Fellowship. The Guild is inviting the congregation to join them supporting Eastern Baptist South Food Bank. And if you bring the donations along, they'll be put in the cupboard there, ready to be distributed. And now we move to Torrance Parish Church. The morning service in person is at 10:30 a.m, conducted by the minister. During the service, the youngsters meet together in Crest, Junior Church and Frog. To join the service online, click torranceparishchurch.online.church. The cafe is open every Wednesday from 9 till 12 noon for teas, coffees and delicious home baking. Why not come and taste for yourself? Summer Holiday Club, join us this summer for A Tale of Two Kings, an exciting holiday club for all children starting school in August, right up to primary 7. From August the 4th to the 6th between 10 and 12 noon. Our church will be buzzing with stories, games, crafts and songs that promise to bring joy and discovery to every child. It's a wonderful opportunity for kids to make new friends, explore the Bible and create lasting memories. To find out about regular weekly activities, check the website for what's on at, one of my favourite websites is all the W's, tpc.org.uk. I love that one. Yes, so that's all the church news for this week. Hopefully this finds you well and in good spirits. Remember, if you get any comments or anything you want us to advertise relating to church events, I would love to hear from you. Contact us at Q and Review. God bless you.
Wednesday the 25th of June. District News General. Say hello to Lawson, a 2-year-old German Shepherd at Dogs Trust, West Calder. Fun goofball seeks a new home. This handsome hunk may look like a noble protector, but don't let his size fool you. Lawson is a certified affectionate boy who believes he's a lapdog at heart. Lawson makes fast friends and keeps them for life. While Lawson isn't a fan of solo time and prefers to stick close to his people, he's fully house trained and makes the best travel buddy. He's also a smart cookie who loves to learn and show off his tricks. Lawson is looking for experienced shepherd-savvy humans, aged 16 plus, who are ready to continue his training and give him structure and affection. He'd like to be the only pet in the home. If he sounds like the dog for you, please contact Dogs Trust West Calder on 01506 873 459. Clubs. St Columba's Men's Club. At 7:30 p.m. every Monday, St Columba's Men's Club meet in the Church Hall in Old Isle Road, Kirkintilloch, and offer a very warm welcome, together with the chance to play a bit of pool or snooker, dominoes or even some table tennis. If none of these appeal, how about a cup of coffee or tea and a chat? Our members come not only from Kirkintilloch, but also from Lenzie, Cumbernauld, Milton of Campsie and Bearsden. If you would like more details, contact either Ian Gibb on 0141 776 5453 or Jim Kennedy on 07767 124 416. Kirkintilloch Rock Choir. Your friendly local Kirkintilloch choir is run by singing teacher Elaine Williamson. The choir will be performing locally again soon, so it's a chance for you to join in, sing and perform without pressure and under the supportive guidance of Elaine. We sing in Kirkintilloch every week during term time. You can join the choir by going to www.rockchoir.com. That's www.rockchoir.com. Or you can also book a free singing taster session to try it beforehand. Karen Dunbar, June 28th, Kirkintilloch Town Hall. One of Scotland's best known comedy actors, Karen Dunbar, started off in the sketch show Chewing the Fat. She then went on to star in her own show, The Karen Dunbar Show, which received various awards and nominations. Karen has trod the boards in everything from Glasgow Panto to West End Theatre, performed Burns, Shakespeare, stand-up and DJ'd all in New York, and last year DJ'd at Transmit and in Ibiza. In 2014, she opened the Commonwealth Games in front of 40,000 folk and 1 billion viewers. From wee pubs to the National Theatre, Karen has captivated audiences with her mix of comedy, music and acting talents. Tickets £25 from www.skiddle.com. That's www.skiddle.com. Farming. The very best of Scottish soft fruit. Berries of Scotland campaign. From juicy strawberries to plump blueberries, Scotland has a long and rich history of producing some of the world's most succulent soft fruit, with hundreds of farms up and down the country representing a growing and valuable part of our vibrant agricultural landscape. To champion and strengthen Scotland's £188 million berry sector, Scotland Food and Drink, supported by the Scottish Government, is launching a brand new celebration of Scottish grown berries, encouraging shoppers, chefs, retailers and more to learn about the innovative industry and add more delicious local fruit to their plates. Launched on Friday, June 20th by Minister for Agriculture and Connectivity, Jim Fairley, at the Royal Highland Show, the 4-month Berries of Scotland campaign will spread awareness of the heritage and impact of Scotland's berry sector, which comprises fruit farms of all shapes and sizes spread out from the Highlands all the way down to the East Coast. As well as showcasing tasty recipes and fascinating insights into the life of Scottish growers, Berries of Scotland will also bring together a curated map to show berry lovers where they can pick their own at local farms. According to Scottish Government's farm census, 1,000 hectares was dedicated to growing strawberries alone in 2024, the equivalent of more than 1,200 football pitches, and Scotland has been the home of berry innovation for more than 3/4 of a century, thanks to pioneering scientific developments at the James Hutton Institute. Experts from the James Hutton Institute, who attended the Berries of Scotland launch with growers from Castleton Farm and Angus Growers, have been breeding and trialling soft fruit for almost 75 years, including raspberries, blackberries, blackcurrants, blueberries, currants, gooseberries, tayberries and honeyberries. Over the decades, Hutton has developed more than 40 soft fruit varieties, including berries resilient to the climate change or require low input, reducing reliance on chemical pesticides, which makes them more sustainable. With the berry category worth £197.8 million in the Scottish retail market, now is a perfect time to celebrate scientists, farmers and businesses who contribute to Scotland's rich berry heritage. English paper piecing. Join us Saturday, June 28th at the Regent Centre for a captivating demonstration and discover the timeless charm of English paper piecing, EPP. This meticulous hand sewing technique involves wrapping fabric around paper templates and then stitching the fabric pieces together to create intricate and beautiful designs. Book at www.allevents.in. Calligraphy exhibition. Members and visitors of the Glasgow Scribes will be displaying a wide range of calligraphy writing on their annual exhibition, Calligraphy, the Art and Craft of Beautiful Writing, during July the 4th to 14th in the Art Space, Cat Art, 63 to 67 Queen Street, Glasgow, G1 3EN. Opening times are July the 4th 2pm to 6pm, July the 6th to 13th, Monday to Saturday, 9 AM to 6 PM, Sunday, 11 AM to 6 PM, Monday, July 14th, 9 AM to 4 PM. On Saturday, July the 5th, the group will be delivering 3 calligraphy workshops for new calligraphers or those wishing to refresh their skills. 9:30 AM to 11:30 AM, Introduction to Copper Plate. 12 noon to 2 PM, Gothic Basics. 2:30 PM to 4:30 PM, Introducing Foundational. For more details, see www.glasgowscribes.blogspot.com, email glasgowscribes@yahoo.co.uk, or text or phone 07895 935 106, voicemail. Zinefest. Glasgow Zinefest is a yearly celebration of Zine culture with events about art, community and heritage. This year's festival will take place on July the 2nd to 6th at Tramway, the Hidden Gardens and online. There will be hands-on workshops from soil plant making to riso printing, plus critical conversations on land, disability justice and climate reparations alongside free drop-in activities. For more information, visit www.glasgowzinelibrary.com. People-led policy panel call for participants. Help shape the future of adult social care support in Scotland. Inclusion Scotland is looking for up to 15 people from across the country to join its people-led policy panel, a unique initiative placing lived experience at the heart of shaping adult social care support in Scotland. The People-Led Policy Panel, which is run by Inclusion Scotland and funded by the Scottish Government, brings together people who draw on social care support to co-produce improvements in policy and practice. It ensures those most affected by decisions are directly involved in making them. April O'Neill, Inclusion Scotland's People-Led Policy Coordinator, said, "Panel members meet every 2 months to explore key issues like eligibility criteria, advocacy and transitions. They work closely with Scottish Government officials and other decision makers to influence real change. In between formal meetings, they meet for the purpose of peer support. We are looking for new members to contribute to our discussions and decision making. Members can expect to share personal experiences of accessing or struggling to access adult social care support, put forward ideas and solutions to issues raised about adult social care support, respond to policy proposals from government and other organisations, help develop a new, more inclusive way of designing policies and services in Scotland, help to design new ways of ensuring people supported and carers have their rights and respected and needs met." Applications are open until July 16th to anyone aged 18 or over who currently uses, has used or has tried and failed to access adult social care in Scotland, including unpaid carers. To apply or find out more, visit inclusionscotland.org. That's inclusionscotland.org. And that was this week's District News, date Wednesday the 25th of June, read by Ian.
Public notices. Traffic notices. North Lanarkshire Council. Various streets, North Lanarkshire, Disabled Persons Parking Places Order Number 2, 2025. On the 16th of June 2025, the North Lanarkshire Council made the above named Traffic Regulation Order in terms of the Road Traffic Regulation Act 1984. The order, which will come into operation on Monday the 30th of June 2025, was advertised in the Airdrie and Coatbridge Advertiser, Cumbernauld News, Kilsyth Chronicle, Kirkintilloch Herald, Motherwell Times and Wishaw Press Week, commencing the 12th of May 2025, and the effect of the order is stated in said notice. An electronic copy of the order and relevant plans are available for inspection on the Council's website at www.northlanarkshire.uk.com/public-documents/tabid, that's TABID, /65 /folder ID /78 /2025 .aspx. Alternatively, you can request to observe a hard copy by using the contacts for committee services as detailed below. By email, troconsultation@northlan.gov.uk. Rachel Blair, Chief Officer, Legal and Democratic, Civic Centre, Windmill Hill Street, Motherwell, ML1 1AB, northlanarkshire.gov.uk. Public Notices. Eastern Bartonshire Council Public Notices. The Eastern Bartonshire Council, New Dyke Road, Kirkintilloch, temporary closure, Order 2025. On the 24th of June 2025, the Eastern Bartonshire Council made the above-named order under Section 14 (1) of the Road Traffic Regulation Act 1984, which makes it unlawful for any person to drive or cause or permit to be driven any motor vehicle, with the exception of emergency service vehicles, vehicles engaged in the works, and those vehicles requiring access to properties adjacent to the closed section of road when it is safe and practical to do so, on New Dyke Road, Kirkintilloch, between its junction with Hillhead Road and Langmuir Road, Kirkintilloch, and its junction with Eldon Road, Kirkintilloch, by reason of works being executed on or near this road. This order will operate from 6 a.m. on Sunday, the 6th of July 2025, until 6 p.m. on Sunday, the 13th of July 2025. Alternative routes. The alternative routes will be by way of New Dyke Road, Redbrae Road, the B8048 Waterside Road, Merkland Drive, Langmuir Road, and Hillhead Road, Kirkintilloch, and these routes will be signposted. Internal diversion routes will also be signposted. Eastern Bartonshire Council, Eastern Bartonshire Council Headquarters, 12 Strathkelvin Place, Kirkintilloch, G66 1TJ.
Sport. Domestic treble. Report by Brian Yule. Kirkintilloch and Kilsyth ASC, KKASC, enjoyed a remarkable season, solidifying its place at the forefront of British water polo. The senior female team achieved an extraordinary domestic treble, sweeping the major Scottish competitions. For the first time in their history, KKASC are the Scottish League champions and Scottish Cup winners, becoming the first club from the west of Scotland to ever win either title. Their dominance also extended to them winning the West Cup for the third season in a row. This domestic success has been mirrored on the national stage, as KKASC were promoted to Division 1 of the British Water Polo League, BWPL. This is a culmination of a 4-year journey that has seen the club ascend from the BWPL qualifying tournament to the very top tier of British water polo. Just 4 years ago, a very young KKASC squad, with an average age of 16, faced a steep learning curve in their initial BWPL qualification attempt. Club Development Officer Alan Scobie recalled, "That first season was tough, but it was vital. We learned so much about the level of competition and the demands of the National League. Key moments stand out, like their nail-biting win to qualify for Division 3 in April 2022, or the hard lesson learned when they narrowly missed the promotion playoffs in their first Division 3 season? Head coach Nico Fanu said, "That moment was a hard lesson, but it showed us how fine the margins are at this level, and again we used this to strengthen our team for the following season." Their progress has since been relentless as KKASC finished second in Division 3 and then went on an unbeaten run in the playoffs to gain promotion to Division 2. The 2024-25 season then saw them going undefeated in Division 2 before securing their spot in Division 1 through the playoffs. Fenny said, "To go undefeated in Division 2 is a credit to the entire squad. They worked incredibly hard and this promotion is a result of their commitment." Coach Finu's strategic leadership, characterised by a long-term vision for sustainable growth, player growth and development, has been a cornerstone of this success. His ability to implement adaptive tactics, analyse opponents and foster a strong team bond has been instrumental, emphasising a collective effort over the individual brilliance. Over 30 players contributed to these remarkable achievements, highlighting the depth and unity of the squad. Integral to KKSC's ascent has been their partnership with the University of Strathclyde, which has provided the increased pool time and access to top-tier facilities. Furthermore, international partnerships, including 6 water polo development camps in Scotland and England with European coaches and Olympic medal winners, and training camps in Italy, have significantly enhanced the players' technical and tactical understanding. Reflecting on her team's achievements, team captain Amelia Henderson said, "It's been an incredible journey, and to reach Division 1 together is a truly special accomplishment." Looking ahead, Coach Finu expressed immense pride. "I'm incredibly proud of this group of women. We've achieved what we set out to do 4 years ago, but this is just the beginning for us, and we're ready to take our water polo to the next level." With a season of unprecedented success under their belts, the future looks incredibly bright for KKASC. That article was written by Brian Yule. Speedway. Tigers snap up Danish wonder kid. Article written by Phil Lanning. Glasgow Tigers have signed Danish prospect Vilas Nagel to replace the departed Ashton Bugan. An out-of-sorts Bugan left the club by mutual consent after struggling with injury and confidence so far this season. Team boss Cammy Brown said, "It was clear to everyone that Ashton has been out of sorts with injury and confidence issues. We agreed with Ashton that he needs extra time to rebuild his belief and enjoy racing again. We'd like to thank Ashton for all his efforts and hope a break can see him return to the brilliant form he has shown in the past." Nagel, a former SGP3 silver medalist, is no stranger to Ashfield, having competed in the recent SGP2 qualifier. Brown said, "We are delighted to welcome Vilas to the club. There is no doubt he is one of the most exciting young riders in the world. He has a sensational pedigree, and we know Tigers fans will love his never-say-die attitude and exciting racing style. Vilas was unlucky in the SGP2 qualifier when the meeting was abandoned because of heavy rain, only missing out in qualifying by ballot. He showed in 3 races he is wonderfully talented, an exciting kid to watch. The owners want pure entertainment from riders who give it 100%, and Vilas will give it everything." The 18-year-old made his debut in the 53-37 win at home to Plymouth Gladiators on Friday, and, despite some bike issues, picked up 4 points, including a heat win. Tigers were also boosted by the return from injury of Dan Thompson, as he added 10, only better by Chris Harris with 13 and Kyle Howarth with 11. Brown said, "That was our most dominant home performance of the season. We looked super strong once again. Dan came back from injury and was fantastic. He's far from 100% fit, but only dropped 2 points. Vilas had a tough night of bike issues, but his paid win just showed how good this kid is. I can't fault anyone, to be honest. It's so good for us to deliver that sort of performance. We need to do that at Ashfield more often." Tigers are at home again this Friday as Scunthorpe Scorpions come calling. That article was written by Phil Lanning and read by Ian McKenna.
Palmer returns as the new boss of Petershill, a report by Brian Ewell. Craig Palmer has made a swift return to Petershill after being appointed as the club's new manager. Last month it was announced that the management team of Stephen McNeill, Palmer and Darren Ramsey had departed after missing out on promotion from the WOS First Division. However, just weeks later it was confirmed that Palmer had accepted an offer to step up from being McNeill's assistant, while Ramsey will also return as coach. Palmer made nearly 100 appearances as a player for Petershill after joining from Glencairn in 2010, before going on to coach at the likes of St Cadox, Arthurlie and Cumnock. He told the club's Facebook page, "This was an unexpected opportunity that came up and I couldn't turn it down. The players are sticking together and it's something that Darren and I still wanted to be part of. The last few games of the season showed what we are capable of, and hopefully we can kick on again this season and challenge with the good work that was done in the past." One member of the backroom staff who has departed is sports therapist Brodie Joyce, as he concentrates on his studies. A club statement said, "At times, Brodie has been the hardest working man at the club with the number of injuries we seem to have suffered, and he will be missed by everyone in the dressing room. We wish him well as he takes his studies to the next level." A number of players have signed new deals to remain at Petershill, including last season's joint top scorer Alex Castles, who was also named both the Player of the Year and Players' Player of the Year. The others are Connor Bell, Joe Campbell, Alex Castles, Declan Hughes, Andy Miller, Kyle Mitchell, Michael Semirimu and Mark Smith. Already tied up for next term are KP McAllister, Ross Smith, Chris Duff, Andy McLaughlin, Paul Fee, Stephen Graham, Robbie Young and Regan Aiken. Those who have departed are Bailey McIntyre, Dom Morgan, Ryan Thompson, Jojo Mackay, Ger Stevens, Kevin Green and Stephen Tart. Meanwhile, at the WOSFL AGM, it was confirmed that 8 teams will be promoted across all divisions next season due to the reconstruction of the Lowland League. That report was written by Brian Ewell. More than a dozen new signings as Ashfield is rebuilding. Ashfield has made a number of new signings as they look to bounce back following relegation from the WS First Division. More than a dozen new faces have arrived at the club as manager Peter Hill overhauls the squad he inherited when he stepped up from the development team in February. The first new faces was former Dundee United, Falkirk and Airdrie left-sided player Kane McFarland. Hill said, "Really pleased to have Kane in the door. He has already made his senior debut at Falkirk and brings some real quality to the left side." McFarland was soon joined by defender Cameron Sweeney and attacking midfielder Ross MacDonald, who reached the Scottish Junior Cup final in 2022. Greg Chalmers has returned to the club, while former Kirkintilloch Rob Roy striker Connor Hughes will add goals and experience. Hill said, "Greg was one of the main targets to get back into the club for this season, while Connor will bring experience along with goals, so I couldn't be happier." Bolstering the defence will be 6'6" centre-half Ian Begg from Clydebank, along with Ewan Bonham and fullback Brooks, Louis Robertson and Luke Martin. Hill said Ian came through one of the best academies in the west of Scotland and already had first-team exposure. He has every attribute to kick on with being 6'6" and good on the ball. Set to partner Hughes up front will be Liam Coogans, who was on the books of the likes of Huddersfield Town, Queen of the South and Airdrieonians. Hill said, having strikers like Liam and Connor, who are proven at this level, will make a massive difference going forward and should really kick us on this season. Completing the new arrivals are keeper Thomas Starr, Ger Stevenson, who enjoyed a successful loan spell last season, Aaron Fitzpatrick and Jamal Bawan. In addition, Ashfield has also retained services of last season's top scorer, Kieran Findlay. Hill said, I'm over the moon to have Kieran for next season. I worked with him in the development team and the sky is the limit. The club is going in the right direction again, with things hopefully falling into place, and Ashfield will be back where it belongs.
Thanks for listening to this week's edition of the Kirkintilloch and Bishopbriggs Herald podcast.